A lot of the most interesting evolution has happened in the oceans. It's really obvious that the vast majority of the diversity in the world and the vast majority in the diversity in all of life is still in the oceans. And it all began in the oceans. And the organisms we study, corals, are some of the most distantly related organisms to humans within the animal portion of the tree. And so you can gain a lot of insight into evolution by studying these groups that are really distantly related to us, and they're all in the ocean. Research is like a default for me. There was a brief moment of time, I think, in undergrad where I thought maybe I could go do something other than academic research, and I literally could not think of anything else. So it's all I've ever wanted to do, and it's just the way it is for me. I think that way. I really love just learning more about everything that's around me. So I'm Ryan McMinds, and I'm a PhD student at Oregon State University, and I'm in the Department of Microbiology, and we study coral microbiology and the ecology of microbes in the ocean. I think diversity in general is amazing, that I can see so many different things in one place that are so distantly related to each other. Every time I go diving, I have a new creature of the day that is kind of just in my head. It's like, ooh, today I'm interested by crinoids. You come to these reefs and you've got flatworms that are this big and they're just extremely colorful and they look like wavy leaves and they're beautiful. And it's a completely different creature. And so every time I go out there, I see something new that's just really cool to see. So I get up, I've got a couple things to prepare in the lab to get myself ready for collections. I'm collecting mucus, and I use a little syringe to collect that mucus while I'm underwater. And then I'm taking a small fragment of the coral, and so I need a sterile bag to put that in. I prepare all those, pre-label everything, because I can't really write on these things underwater. And I'll go down to the dive shed and make sure all my scuba equipment is together, put it all in the bins and everything. Katya Nicolette, who's been my dive partner since I've been here, has been extremely helpful in, if I'm rushing to do my samples after a dive, and she'll, pick up a little bit extra work of cleaning the dive gear after the dive, and those kinds of things are just invaluable when I'm kind of here doing this project on my own. We'll load up the boat and we'll go out to the reef. While we're at the reef, we'll take a couple basic measurements. I need to write one down actually right now that we did say before I forget. And we'll take a couple basic measurements about the sites. So that includes the visibility. We use a Secchi disc. People will generally drop it down from a boat, and when it disappears, they measure the length of line. We're doing a little bit modified because the water isn't deep enough to drop down and lose sight of it, so we're doing it horizontally. And while I'm on the dive, I start with a kind of 15-minute, 20-minute survey of the reef, just kind of looking for what I'm going to sample. And then I'll sample the mucus and take pictures of all these colonies, make sure it's documented. Take a small fragment and collect that and put it in the bag. And then we come back to the boat, put it on ice, motor back to the shore. And so I get to the shore and immediately try to start processing these samples that I've taken. At the end of a day, I feel successful if I identified my species correctly and I got some new groups that I've been looking for. The very tangible results that we're hoping to find or assist other groups in finding later are just the basic biology of how corals interact with the microbes in the environment. In the end, that can shed light on why we're losing corals, which is a big problem right now. We're really losing coral reefs fast due to various problems like runoff, climate change, ocean acidification, etc. In a lot of cases, we know why the corals are dying, but in a lot of other cases, we don't. And so we want to be able to understand those processes better. And if we understand them better, we might be able to figure out ways to stop from losing them.